We're just waiting for, this is going to be on Facebook Live, so we're just waiting for that, and then we'll start the class.
Yeah, go ahead, Lindsay. Okay, it's fine. All right, welcome everyone to our class. We're really excited that everyone could come and join us tonight. This is our one of our first design classes, One Room, Many Looks. So a big welcome to everybody here who came in the store to join us, and of course a huge welcome to all of our Facebook friends who are joining us live. So I'm Lindsay. I'm one of the furniture buyers here and also an interior designer.
And my name is Wendy, and I'm also a buyer. I'm actually the accessory buyer, and I'm also an interior designer.
So you're probably looking at the room that we've put together. So the whole concept for this evening is taking staple furniture pieces and switching up the look. So we've picked a pretty traditional looking couch. So we've got the rounded edges. We do have some straight lines, so it's a really good transitional piece that would really work well with a multitude of different styles. But it still is a pretty traditional base, and then a very neutral color palette. So again, it would really mix well. So these are probably similar to maybe some pieces that you guys have in your own homes. And what we've done is, so if you're looking at our room, we've actually staged it wrong. So we've put kind of pieces together. And we'll kind of talk about maybe some of like the classic design no-nos that a lot of us make, but they're really simple fixes and really easy to do to transition the look over. So Wendy, go ahead and tell us about the tables that we've used and maybe why they're not really working for this look.
Okay, thanks, Lindsay. So if you look at the table that we have the coffee table right here, and we also have the other tables. We have an end table over here and also an end table right over here. And we're going to talk about the coffee table first. So the coffee table is a really large table, and it almost overwhelms the sofa. So if you're really looking, if I'm in the audience and I'm actually looking at the sofa, you probably really see the table, don't you? Because it's really big. And so besides the table being really massive and big,
well, and also the height it's a little too tall for the furniture that we've picked, as well as the size, as well as in concept to the rug that we've used.
Exactly, Lindsay. And as well, all three tables, if you look at the coffee table and also the two end tables, it's actually okay to mix tables if they work together really well. In fact, in the eclectic style, it's really great because if you really mix pieces together, they actually look really great if they feed off of each other. But these pieces don't really work together, do they? So if we actually look at the accessories on the table as well, one of the rules of design is to work in odd numbers. And if you look at this doesn't really look very pleasing to the eye, does it? So first of all, we have this funny skull. And I love skulls, but it just doesn't really work in this situation. Skulls are pretty popular in design right now, but this doesn't really work. So we have a skull, which is one piece, and then we also have the plant, and we have the tray, but it just kind of feels off balance. You have this tall skull and this small plant, so it just doesn't really feel like it's balanced. So it's really good to work in odd numbers, where you're either placing one large accessory on the table, or you're placing maybe an assortment of 3 accessories. So it's just really pleasing to the eye if you do that.
Well, and as you can see, we've kind of used a multitude of different styles that, again, it's not really working, it's not really pulling the look together. So we've used, a brass lamp, just a simple display box, and then over in our writing desks, and writing desks are really becoming more and more popular to use in not just in your home office, but if you have open floor plans, a corner of a bedroom, a corner of a living room. They're great pieces. They've really gotten smaller and very functional, but very design oriented. So it gives you the functionality of having, a little writing area where you can sit, you can read, you can, have your laptop, kids can do homework, and you're not having this big chunky desk, out. But the chair that we've placed with this obviously would fit a lot better in an office setting than it would in your living room. So, you know, we've used a screen, which screens are great. It's a beautiful look that with the screen you can use it to divide space. It can go against a wall. So the great thing with that, it gives you a little contrast, a little variance, and different texture. So it just brings some interest into the room. So the screens are great, but we haven't really staged it up in a big way. And I think one of the biggest design flaws that a lot of people make and maybe don't realize, but it's a really easy fix, is if you look at our back wall, we've hung a wreath. So a lot of people have the decorative wreaths. But obviously it looks too small for the space. We've got a larger sideboard. We've done a symmetrical design with our lamps, which works beautifully for the sideboard. But we've kind of got too close in height for our pieces right here. And then, of course, our wreath just looks random on the wall, and it's not a good look. So.
And you know, typically in design, when you hang something on the wall, you actually want it to be eye level. So sometimes people think, okay, what is eye level? Because people are all different heights, right? So usually a typical height is about 5'7" for an average person height. And so if you're looking at the wall and a 5'7" person is looking at a piece of artwork, the middle of that artwork should be right in the center of where your eyes are. So as you can see, this wreath is really high, isn't it? And also something else, like Lindsay said, there's just different elements that are not really working together. Like I actually love bling accessories, and this is a really pretty vase that has kind of the bling crystals in it, but it doesn't really work with anything else that is in this vignette.
So looking at the pieces that we've mixed together, we've got our traditional pieces. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to put right what we've put wrong. So we're going to change our look, and we're going to bring in more of a modern traditional look. So modern traditional, it's a beautiful design. It's very popular right now, and it really enables you to use and utilize pieces that you have, the more traditional pieces, but really update the look and bring in a more modern element. So our great helpers are going to come and help us move some of this furniture out of the way. And then we'll show you how we're going to actually make this look work. So if you notice on the rug that we've used, so this is just a tight pile. So simple colors, but we've really picked something that is going to transition well with the sofa that we have, but also bring in a pop of color. So again, depending on your design style or the color choices that you go with, you can use patterns, you can use solid, or you can use a little variance like we've done here, and it really adds to the look of the room. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to bring our new coffee table in. So we have chosen a more modern table, much better size for the space. We've got a beautiful mirror top, and then the gorgeous muted gold, which is really big right now. Gold is beautiful. It transitions so well with your different woods, your marbles, you know, all your different wood flooring or your carpet. So it's a beautiful look that's really just huge in the design world right now.
It is. In fact, sorry, Lindsay, I was just going to say, and when we go to market, because Lindsay and I go to the different markets around the United States, and we actually buy furniture and accessories, we've actually been seeing gold for a couple of years now, but it's really starting to really transition. It always starts in fashion first, and then it transitions into interior design. We've noticed it for a couple of years, but we're noticing it even stronger now. And you don't even have to use a lot of gold. If you just use little bits and pieces, you can actually mix gold and silver together, and it looks great.
It does, and it really brings just an element of design to your space. The other piece, and I don't know if you guys can see it very well, but we actually picked an oval side table. So we've got our square coffee table, we've got an oval side table, very simple, open, with a glass top. And then we've got a coordinating piece over here that now really pulls the look together. So if you're looking at the size of the room now with just the change in the tables, the difference that it makes to the room is night and day. So now we're going to start bringing in our accessories and really pull the look together.
Okay, we're excited for this part.
This is the fun bit.
It is. This is when the whole grouping really comes alive. So
one of the first things that you want to do when you're building your design is really decide on a staple piece. So we've selected this beautiful large picture, and again, we've picked colors that are going to coordinate with the rug, with the furniture, with the tables that we've selected, and just the elements and the little touches of gold really make a difference. And then Wendy's going to stage that server for us, and it's all going to start coming to life.
I really love accessories because they can take a sofa that's really kind of plain, and of course the love seat and the chair, they're kind of plain, and it just really brings everything to life. So as us women, we love our jewelry. The accessories are actually the jewelry for our furniture. So pretty much what we're going to do is, it's always a great idea, a great design idea to put a couple of buffet lamps on the end of each of the sofa table, on each end. And it really balances out the whole look. So if you look at the picture is pretty large, which looks really great with the piece underneath it, the sofa table. And it really helps balance out the sofa table. So that's a great, beautiful picture as far as the size goes and the colors, like Lindsay said, because it ties in with the rug.
Right.
And also, if you look, there's little bits of white and gold in the picture besides the blue. And if you'll notice around the room, we have, like Lindsay said, we have the gold tables, so it brings in the gold, and then we're also introducing white. So we've introduced these white lamps, which really helps that white to pop as well. So now we're going to finish accessorizing the table.
And just also, if you look at the height placement of the picture in conjunction to the top of the server, so don't be afraid to build into your furniture with the accessories that you use. So years ago, it used to be, we thought we had to have so much of a space. You can lean your artwork or your pictures against, if you don't want to hang it on your wall, but really build your accessories and your accent pieces into the display, and it really pulls it to life just beautifully. So as you can see, Wendy's just kind of layering the pieces that we have, and we've coordinated the colors and the accessories and all to really pull that design aspect together.
Okay, also, turn that around. Lanterns are really great, especially nowadays we have battery-operated candles. So you can create a mood or a setting in your home with battery-operated candles, and it's a safe way to have candles. But it's always great to create that mood in a setting. So as you can see, we have an arrangement of accessories. So when we're actually placing accessories, we think of the whole unit. So when I look at these accessories, we see there's 6 different accessories right here in the middle. But the way we look at it is as one unit. So we want to look at the center first of all. So there's the center base, which actually brings height to the entire display. And then actually the whole display goes downward. So it starts with the height and then goes down. And if you'll notice, this lantern and also this vase are approximate in height. And so that really helps balance it out. So you graduate from tall and go down. And then these other filler accessories just kind of add some depth and dimension. So that is a very pleasing display. And it really works with the whole grouping.
It really does. So you can see how the room is really starting to take shape. So in the desk area, so before, if you remember, we had our black rolling office chair, which is great for the office, but not for our living room. So we've decided on this beautiful, and it's more of a traditional line chair, just, a beautiful accent chair. The great thing with these chairs, placing it into the writing desk, it now becomes warm. It becomes inviting. It becomes a place that you can see yourself wanting to sit, wanting to read a book, wanting to write a letter, or do homework, or work at the table. And then with the accent pieces, So we've got our screen, and then obviously we wouldn't hang anything on the screen, but like we've talked about, you can really just start laying in, so leaning things against it. And if we want to add a lamp, lamps are great ways to bring not only style and color, but also, you know, it brightens up everything and really freshens up the look. So we've pulled a lamp in with a natural shade, so we've got a natural linen shade. So again, we're bringing different textures, different styles and colors into the design. And then we'll just kind of spruce it up with some accent pieces. So we've got all different natural woods, metals.
That's what's great about this is if you'll notice, the pieces that Wendy is setting up on this desk, the pieces aren't necessarily the same. Like we didn't put like 2 candle holders that are exactly the same. Like we didn't put 2 lanterns that are both gold. We actually decided to choose different elements because they're just more interesting and pleasing to the eye. So for example, we do have the wood candle holder, and then we have a gold lantern, and then a blue and white base. So there's a grouping of 3, like we had mentioned before, using odd numbers is really great. It's really pleasing to the eye. And then we've added height by putting these branches, and it's really fun to actually go out in your yard and grab some branches and spray paint them. And that's what we've done right here. So these are gold, spray paint gold.
And spray paint should be in everybody's decorating kit. It's a really easy, inexpensive way to change something up and really just bring bring old things back to new life. And or of course, bring in your twigs, spray paint them and add that touch of, just finishing touch to the room. So as you can see the difference with our writing desk, just simple pieces. We've brought in some height. We've got our natural lamp, really again is pulling that together to give it a more pleasing look. And then lastly, we've got our side table. So again, we've just picked simple pieces, and this time we've really just chosen one larger piece that really works. It just gives it a simple look. Again, we've pulled in the white, and before we had our white on white, but just by adding a little pop of color, it again really makes a big difference and brings in some contrast to that chair, which again, leaps and bounds makes it look beautiful.
And fur pillows and fur throws are really popular nowadays. Of course, this is a faux fur, but they really add just that pop to something solid.
The texture, it works with leathers, it works with your linens, it works, with your twill or your fabric. So you really can't go wrong. But it gives such a soft look that it's just almost like you feel like you're home.
Exactly.
So, and then lastly, we'll do our coffee table.
Okay, so with our coffee table, thank you. So our coffee table, this is a very important area that we decorate because when someone walks into your room, you really do see the coffee table, don't you? And what we've done with this coffee table, I love it because we really built a lot of height, which really draws your eye. Whenever you can draw your eye up and down vertically in design, then it's just more interesting. Instead of having everything be the same level or being flat, it just really is an interesting technique. So that's what we've done here. This is one of my very favorite pieces we have, but this is just a round gold sphere on a base, and so we put that at the back to add height, and then the plant, the floral, is just right in front of it. So it's about the same height as the round circle. And then we just added a blue and white base because, again, like we said before, having a contrast in accessories and the elements that you use really makes a big difference and makes it more interesting.
The thing I love about this too, where you've got the look through, so it doesn't block your line of sight, but it really brings an interest to the table. So when you're sitting, you don't have a huge plate. So to build your height on a table, these pieces really work. So like the no in this circumstance would be you wouldn't put like a huge round plate or a huge picture frame on an easel or something like that, because that would really cause more of a blocked view, and it would look more like an oversized table instead of designed and right. So this is just pieces that work beautifully to build the height, but still give you that visibility and that really just that beautiful designer look that we're going for.
And, you know, these candle holders, we'll talk about these candle holders for a minute. So the candle holders, we did use the same candle holder, just different heights. But the reason why this works is because we're actually balancing out this side of the display. So this side of the display is a heavier side because it has a floral and it has a circle, even though, like Lindsay said, the circle actually visually allows some space to come through, but there's still some depth right here. So there's some mass right here. So what happens is when we place these candle holders by the side, it just kind of helps balance out this side. So they don't have to be exactly, like the tallest candle holder doesn't have to be exactly the same height as this. As long as it's close and it just kind of balances out the mass on this side, then when you look at it, it just feels pleasing and balanced.
And anytime that you can use natural pieces, so, you know, raw woods, distressed wood, reclaimed wood, you know, these are all huge in the design world right now. They're beautiful looks, but it just gives it, you know, a clean look. So if these candlesticks were white, they would still work, but to have more of the modern traditional style that we're staging this room to have, the natural tones really work better. So, and then of course, the room wouldn't be complete without finishing our sofa. So we've got our throw pillows and a fur throw, which we'll let Wendy pop those on.
Okay, so here's the fur throw. That we love fur throws, and they really, like Lindsay and I had spoken about before, they really add that softness and that texture and a design element. They're really popular in design right now. So we're going to put that there.
And then with the pillows, don't be afraid to mix textures, patterns, colors. These are all elements that work and work really well. So when we've got the fur, we've got, in this one, we've got the little bit of the silver and the gold, like Wendy said. You know, again, that's a really fresh look that's out there. And then we've got the gold with a little bit of shimmer. So even though our couch is a very neutral, very traditional couch, just looking at the room, we've really pulled a modern traditional look together very simply. The great thing with doing these looks, don't be afraid to refurbish some of the pieces that you have. So, you know, we've shown you that you can utilize the furniture pieces, but tables, again, if you want to refurbish your table, spray paint, you can get mirror or glass cut, you know, where you can lay it over the top, add a little bit of trim. Hot glue works wonders. So these are all, you know, great things that you can do that don't cost a lot of money, but, you know, can really help you vamp up your look. And then, you know, of course, the accessories really make a difference. So this is the first look that we wanted to show you tonight. So it's our modern traditional. And so we're actually now, one of the big looks that's out there in the design world is the farmhouse look. So when we think farmhouse, we think Joanna Gaines, we think HGTV. And so it's probably a look that a lot of people wouldn't think, oh, can I do that look with traditional furniture? Well, we're going to show you tonight that we can. So for our Facebook viewers, we're going to take just a brief break. We've got a little clip that you'll be watching for a minute while we change some of this furniture around. So bear with us, don't leave us. We'll be right back. And we're going to go ahead and get these furniture pieces moved. Hey, it's Lindsay from the Boulevard, and we're so glad that you're joining us right now for our design class. And while we're taking a few moments to switch some things around, I wanted to take this opportunity to tell you about the amazing class that we're going to be hosting next month. So, do you love the look of hardwood flooring, but maybe you're worried about the upkeep or the durability? A lot of people worry, you know, that the floor is going to scratch or it's not going to hold up. Maybe you've wondered the difference between hardwood and laminate, or you really like the look of tile or the feel of tile, but you're really wanting to have that hardwood floor look. So come and join us on Thursday, July 13th at 6 o'clock in our flooring department, and for our hardwood ins and outs flooring class. taught by one of our experts. So we were able to show you everything that you need to know for selecting your next hardwood floor. Is it child or pet friendly? We'll be able to show you the different styles and selections and color choices that are out there. We'll show you every in and out that you'll need to pick out the perfect wood, laminate, or tile flooring. Whether you're going to lay it yourself or have one of our installers do it for you, we've got a great wood floor for you that you're going to love for many years to come. So we hope to see you at this next class. We're excited to have you join us, and stay tuned for the rest of our class right now. All right, well, welcome back. We're glad that you're still with us. So as you can see, our room has magically, everything has disappeared. And so as we talked about before our little break, is the farmhouse look. So it's a beautiful, it's a very popular look that can be done in so many ways. You can do modern farmhouse, you can do industrial farmhouse, traditional farmhouse. There's so many aspects to the look, and it's a really simple one to get right. You know, and again, using our very traditional styled couch that we have and our accent chair, we'll show you how we can really pull it together. So as you can see on the papers, and for those of you who are watching on Facebook, we will be posting a link to this. So we've just done a couple of images on furniture placement. So when you're in your room and you're thinking about, you know, changing the look, furniture placement is really key. You want it to be inviting, even if you have a huge space. I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is they pull their furniture out and think that, you know, it has to be in all, you know, 3 walls, and it really doesn't. So don't be afraid, again, to pull your furniture in. It can be away from the walls. Group your furniture together. Decide, you know, what is the room going to be used for? What are some of the elements, maybe the look, the feel that you want to go with? And then base your furniture and how you place your furniture around that. So not being afraid to move your couches a little bit closer or away from the wall. So these are all things. So there's 10 different ideas on your paper, and keep following us. If you're not following us on social media, on our Facebook, on our Instagram, and our blog, we've got great design tips, ideas, and all kind of fun things that really can help you make your home just that showpiece that you want it to be.
We really do. And so like we had spoken about before in the last segment, when you look at this whole display, room grouping, it really, first of all, when we started off, the display was all wrong. The accessories were wrong, right? Well, now that we pulled away all the accessories in the tables, it just looks so plain, doesn't it? So it shows you that you can really take your pieces that you already have. You can take your sofa that you already have, a chair, even some other pieces, furniture pieces, and you can really bring it to life with some accessories. So that's what's so exciting about accessories. So that's what we're going to do right now, is bring this whole grouping to life.
Right. So the first thing that we're going to do is our rug. So our last rug was it was simple in design. It was more of a tight pile. And so we've actually picked now a shag rug. So it's a solid color. It has a little bit of shimmer to it. It's actually called mushroom is the color. And so it's a great rug that transitions beautifully with the sofa.
This rug, by the way, is very popular. Shag rugs. I know back in like the 1970s, shag carpet was very popular. I remember as a little girl raking the shag carpet. And so a lot of times people, when they see that shag rugs are back in style again, they think, oh my goodness, those are so old-fashioned. But they've actually made a big comeback. Just like fashion and design, everything always makes a comeback, doesn't it? So these shag rugs are very popular, and they really add a softness and just a loft to the whole design element.
They do. And this rug that we selected, and for the other look, we actually went with a 5x7 rug. And so again, depending on the size of the rug that you use, that actually makes a big difference. It can make a very dramatic change to the look of your room by increasing the size of your rug. So if you've got hardwood floors, you know, a carpet or tile, again, by choosing a different sized rug, that really can bring impact and make a dramatic statement to that room, to your space as well.
It's so true. In fact, a lot of times people, when they come in to purchase a rug here at the Boulevard, they often ask, what size of rug should I get? Because really there's a lot of different sizes out there, aren't there? This size is actually a 5 by 7 approximately. There's sometimes 6 foot by 9 foot. There's also 8 foot by 10 foot, and also even 9 by 12. Some customers have ordered really large rugs, like 12 by 18 for really large great rooms. So there's a lot of sizes that you can really go with. Like Lindsay had talked about, there's actually a lot of different applications too. Usually what I tell people is, if you're going to decide to go with a 5 by 7, which is this size, it's really good to just kind of frame, so the furniture frames it. So if you'll notice, there's just a little bit of space, maybe 3 to 5 inches, around the furniture, like between the sofa and the rug. Another really incredible way to display a rug is if you have a large room, to actually use an 8 by 10 or a 9 by 12, and you can actually place that rug in the room and place all the furniture on top of it. And that really centers all the furniture and just makes it a focal point.
It does, but it also really softens the look as well. So, you know, I think some people maybe might be afraid of having something too big in a room, but because you're actually placing your furniture on the rug, it really works beautifully, not just to center it, but really soften the look and really give it some beautiful, you know, impact. So we're going to switch our chair around. So we're going to keep our traditional chair in here, but we actually are going to change the placement of our chair. So do you want to move our... So we're just going to tweak it just a little bit, just to give the room a slightly different feel. So when we think farmhouse, I think the first thing for a lot of us that comes to mind is our reclaimed wood, our slat board, our shiplap. And I think one of the best colors to really pull that look together would be our white furniture. Now, we don't want to go with white couches. We've got our white accent chair. So we've selected a beautiful white coffee table. So we've got our reclaimed distressed top. We've got our slat board bottom. It's got a little bit of an industrial look with the draw pulls that we've used, which really, again, you know, help just pull all of those elements of the farmhouse style together. So again, we have centered it, and one of the things to watch for when you're placing your coffee table, it's also a functional piece. So it's not just decorative, but it's functional. I mean, we all use them for all manner of things. So we want to make sure that you don't place it too far away from your sitting area, and you also don't want it too close. So you know, you're probably 18 inches, you know, 20 inches is a good rule of thumb for your placement, that it then just becomes functional, but also a really good, you know, a little eye candy for the room.
And something else, if you'll notice, we've used the same end table that actually coordinates with the coffee table. So that's really great. But then, if you'll notice over here, we've actually used a different accent table, which really helps bring out the different distressing in the table. So it makes it more interesting. And that's something that we really wanted to convey here, is that it's really great if you can actually mix different tables and different styles, as long as there's different elements that actually work together.
One thing I love about this table as well, so you've kind of got that rustic industrial, you know, vibe going on with this table. But if you look at our writing desk, you know, we've kept the same writing desk. It's a great desk for a lot of different looks. But with the metal base on that desk, again, we're just pulling in that little rustic farmhouse look with our traditional farmhouse that really just coordinates and pulls everything together. So now we've got our tables in place. So we now, we need to finish the room and really dress it up. So
the fun part, yay!
So we're going to start with our back wall. So we selected this beautiful rustic kind of industrial farmhouse clock. So we've got the metal, we've got the white. So it kind of looks like the old, is it like the weather? What are they called?
The weather vane.
Yeah, weather vane. So you've got your metal Roman numerals, so it's a beautiful clock. But if you look at the clock just on its own, it's really not working. It's too small. the height by itself. So we really we need to build into that display. So I'm going to have Wendy again, so help us stage that back server.
Okay, so everybody, like we had spoken about in the last vignette setting, it's always great. You don't have to do this all the time, but it's always great to put 2 tall buffet lamps on either side of the sofa table. And it really adds that height that we really need. A lot of times we live in homes nowadays where the ceilings are really tall. So putting really large lamps on the ends of the sofa table really helps add that height and helps draw your eye vertically up and down. Like we said before, whenever you can draw your eye vertically up and down, it's just more pleasing to your eye. So we've done that with the lamps, and now we're going to finish decorating the top of the sofa table. So I absolutely love this floral. Very unique floral with wood, a wood planter. So we're going to anchor and place that right there. And we're going to kind of angle it. We're going to show you why we're going to do this.
Well, and the nice thing about this piece, it's kind of like that driftwood. So again, it could be pieces that you have around your home, or maybe you found it. So this piece is like the beach driftwood, and then we just added the flowers. So simple elements, but in the farmhouse style, just pulling in those natural elements, as well as your metals, your woods, your fabrics, your florals. It just really pulls the look together. So I love that we've chosen that piece. It works really well.
And what's great about what we have actually displayed here is we've actually looked at everything except the lamps, of course, but everything that is actually right here on the top of the sofa table. We look at it as one unit. So we're thinking about how we can actually balance 5 different accessories into one unit, so it looks really balanced and really great together. So it's always great to place height on the ends. So we did this sofa table, we decorated it a little bit differently than the last one. If you'll remember, we had a tall piece in the center. We kind of went down like that, kind of like an A shape. In this circumstance, because we have this clock, we really want you to see the whole entire clock. We've actually decided to place a tall vase on this end. And we placed 3 candle holders on this end. And they're not quite the same height as this vase, but because there's a grouping of 3, they add mass or bulk. So if I take these away and we just put 1 candle holder right there, see what a difference that makes? So you'll notice that this side is not balanced with this side. So as soon as I add these candle holders, it's more balanced. And what I love too is we didn't use all 3 of the same wood finished candle holders. We actually added that pop of white in this little candle holder. And then we started with the largest, medium, and small in the front. So everything looks balanced.
It's great too that you've got the very distressed candle holder at the front, and then we've got just kind of like the reclaimed wood with the other 2, and then the lamps, they're still white and they're a little bit distressed, but the nice thing with that, it works and really pulls that look together, so it really gives it a balanced, but also brings that farmhouse style to life.
It really does.
So I'm going to tackle our writing desk. So if you remember, we on the last look that we did, the chair that we chose was more of an accent chair. It was oversized. And so for this look, we decided to go with an upholstered dining chair. So the great thing with this, again, it's a simple look. They're beautiful. If you've got an open floor plan, something like this works really well because you can get an extra chair from what you're using in your dining space and pop it with your writing desk. So it brings, again, that softness, that warmth. It makes it feel inviting, and it just really gives it that homely feel. It's a linen, but we just have a slight stripe. So again, not being afraid to mix your patterns and your color choices. So these 2 chairs are slightly different in color, but within the same palette, so the look really works.
And Lindsay, something else I wanted to point out as well. If you'll notice the arms on the sofa, it has a round curved arm as well as the arm on the chair. But if you look at the feet, the feet on the chair and the feet on the sofa, they're a different shape, aren't they? And they're actually a different finish. This finish on this chair on the leg is different than that finish on the sofa. And then the finish on this chair is different. But if you mix the right colors and textures, you can really mix your woods.
So absolutely. So with the desk, one of the biggest things that we wanted to do, again, we love the screens. They just add such depth and color and contrast, to maybe a plain space or the corner of a room. It just gives it a totally different look. So we want to bring some height in. So we've chosen a milk can and just put some simple florals in it. So again, we've got, these are just twigs that you can find outside, so just really fun. You've got your different textures. And then these, if you notice on the other look, we spray painted them gold. So these ones we've actually just left natural. So with the farmhouse look, those natural woods of all different colors and variety really work and bring that look together. And then of course we want to add just a few accent pieces. So we're using a smaller version of our candle holder that we're using on our server.
And the height, I just wanted to draw your eye over here. If you'll notice the height of these natural branches, we'll show you why we wanted that height, because Lindsay's actually adding the pieces to the other side.
Right, so again with this, we've brought some balance in. We've got some of the dark metal, which accents and pulls in with our drawer pulls, with the base of our table, as well as kind of pulls in the look with the base of our desk. And then we love lamps. Lamps are a great way to bring style and color and design into a room. So for this look, we actually went with a floor lamp. So this is a pretty industrial looking lamp. So this style would work great in any different element of like the industrial style. But when you think farmhouse, this look actually works really well. Again, we're pulling in the contrast of what we're using with the different metal elements around the room. So it just gives it that modern farmhouse, that beautiful look, but really transitions well with the furniture that we have. So we've used our lamp, and then we want to add a little bit of contrast. So we have this super fun ladder. And again, this is just something that you can prop up on the wall. It's something that you could make, or if you don't want to buy one, or so this one, and this is a really fun, inexpensive idea. So it's a great just design element. You'll see it in a lot of design galleries. But we were just able to take a book, so you can find them at yard sales. You might have boxes of them at home, and just by removing the cover and the binding, you've got just a blank canvas that gives you a great designed look. Really inexpensive, but really adds just that little touch of designer to your room or to your place. So
it's funny, you would never think that tearing the covers off of a book would be like a design element, but it's really kind of a hip, cool thing that's going on right now.
And it's therapeutic as well, So you get all
exactly.
that.
Take all your anger out on it.
Yeah, pull the covers off. So
something else that, if you look at this display again, so these branches, the height of these branches, they actually tie in with the height of the lamp on the other side. So it helps to balance that whole entire look. And if you'll bring your attention to the milk vase, the milk can, over on this side, these three pieces together have about the same mass or depth of this vase. So it just all really works together. It's all balanced.
And again, these are all pieces that you may have similar pieces at home that would be really easy, to refurbish. We find milk cans all over, and so you could just spray paint it silver, or even strip it down if it's been painted. So you can definitely find different pieces to bring some interest and some style and design, again, without spending a lot of money or changing a lot of your big pieces, to really start building and pulling the look together.
Okay, now we're actually going to decorate this whole part of the vignette. So we're going to be decorating with the lamps, first of all.
And for this look, we actually went with matching lamps. So our other look, we used mix match, which worked really well. But for this, with the metal in the base of the desk, and then we've got the metal baskets. We've got the dark metal in our drawer pulls, our table base. You can really see how it really is pulling the whole look together, and just the whole ensemble is just beautiful and warm and inviting. So by having those matching, even though our tables aren't matching, you can see how it's really starting to take shape.
And something that's really great too, if you'll notice, whenever there's any type of metals, it's always great to repeat that. So if you look at the metal handles on the table, it's a dark bronze. And then if you look at our lamps, they're also a dark bronze. Then if you look at the actual clock, there's actually a dark metal around that. So those type of elements, we're always looking for elements that really tie themselves together and really draw your eye. In fact, there's a lot of different things that you can actually put together that you would never ever dream of, like accessory-wise, because they work with, as far as a style element or a finish, they just really work. And so that's what we're doing right here, is creating that.
And what's fun, if you have, a table and, you want to be creative and use something that you have, you can, if you maybe just have the legs, you can add the base and just add the simple slat board. And even you can buy the draw pull. So if you're deciding on a color and you want to kind of mimic this look and put it together, you can easily add, your own accent pieces in like your draw pulls or different elements, so that you can really coordinate your look and pull it together.
Okay, now we're going to decorate the coffee table. So accessories, if you haven't figured it out, we love accessories. So they actually really add so much to the grouping. So as you'll notice, what we've done is we have actually used the balance technique again. So we have taken a tray, and trays are really great. We haven't really talked about trays. We did have a tray on our last coffee table as well. It balanced out all three accessories that were inside the tray. This tray does the same thing. It's a nice big tray, and you can actually make a theme. We've actually taken these really cool books and piled them just randomly on top of each other, and we put a plant, and then we also put this cute little pig. And so what we did was we started off with a height of the plant, which really draws your eye to that. And then we put a cute white pig in front of it because it's smaller. And then the books kind of help balance out this little plant. So if you'll also notice, we used white for the pig. We are actually carrying a white theme through the vignette, which really pops. White is really popular right now. It's used a lot in design. And so that's what we want to do, is really make things pop.
And I love with the tray how it's the galvanized metal. So again, it's really pulling in our milk pail that we've used on our desk. So we've got all the different metal elements as well as our dark metal accents. And another really fun thing that you can do to really bring some color and add a little bit of design pop to your room. So when you've got a coffee table that you have a lower shelf, a really fun thing, and it brings a beautiful little accent, is just to put, a throw pillow, or you could put a little throw blanket down there. So it just pulls in a little bit of the color that, as you coordinate the rest of your room, it brings, a little depth to that. You've got your texture of the pillow, and it brings some color down. So you've got that beautiful visual from the color from the bottom leading up to the green in the top. So it really makes it just kind of finish that little finishing touch. And then, of course, our couches.
And what I wanted to mention, too, is we didn't place the pillow on this side. And the reason why is, if you look on top of the table, the tray is heavier in weight than the candle holders. So by placing the pillow, whoops, got my mic. Oh, sorry. By placing the pillow underneath the candle holders, it actually gives a balance. So, and it actually adds that pop of color as well. So.
Which is great. So we've got our plain couches. So again, we could say the room looks, pretty good. It's taken shape, but we really want to just bring a little bit of a color pop to really finish the room and pull the whole look together. So we've chosen So as you look at these pillows, they're pretty traditional. You've got your floral, but we've got our beautiful yellow accent, our grays, and of course the whites that we're bringing in. But by adding them, it just beautifully pulls it together. So even though we have our traditional pillow, we've used one of the same pillows that we've used under the coffee table to again pull it together. And then of course our lovely fuzzy fur.
Which we always like to add a little bit of fur. But you know, these pillows with the floral print, it is, like Quincy said, florals are typically traditional, but because this is a softer floral, it lends itself to really going into a lot of different styles and working really well. So,
and again, you can see how we've mixed more of the geometric style of the yellow and white pillow with the floral and then the solid fur. So again, it's just a beautiful look that really transitions well. And then, of course, we've got to finish our look, which it wouldn't be complete without a throw.
Thank you. Like we said before, throws are great because they add a pop of color and they also really add that softness. So we're going to throw that throw, no pun intended, on that chair, and that just really brings the color into the whole entire room setting. So it really makes these pillows pop. It just really kind of brings this chair into the whole grouping now.
Well, and as you can see, we didn't just fold the throw. And, you know, so we didn't kind of fold it nicely and just place it. It's actually laid. So it's usable, it's functional, but when it's laid, it softens the look. It really brings it inviting, and it really gives it more of that magazine designer look. And it's just a really easy, simple thing to do that really changes the look of your room with just you know, instead of folding it, just lay it, you know, over the arm of the chair. So really simple. So for all of our Facebook friends watching us, we're so glad that you were able to join us tonight. And we have a 10% coupon link on your screen that you'll be able to see. It's something that you can print out and bring into the store, so you'll be able to take advantage of 10% off any of the accessories in the store. So we're so excited that you were able to join us, and we hope that you have learned something from this class. Again, just by one room, many different looks, using your traditional furniture or pieces that you have, and really being creative to get the looks that you want. So we're grateful that you could come. We hope that you've enjoyed it, and keep tabs on us, on our social media, on our Instagram, on our Facebook, and our blog. We're going to be holding a lot of different classes. We've got some great things planned, some really exciting new things. So we hope that you'll come again and come see what else we've got.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah. So, are we offline?
No. Does anybody have any questions?
Oh, any questions?
I do. When you're talking about color, does color also have a design, like a design? For instance, you chose yellow for the farmhouse. You could change and do the exact same thing and do blue.
Exactly. Right? In fact, a lot of times, so what her question was is, how did we decide on this color scheme? Why did we decide on yellow? Could we use other colors like blue, for example? Yes, you can. So that's what's great is usually what I do when I'm doing design is I start with a design piece that I really love. And that may be a pillow. And that's how you start your design. So if you find a pillow that you really love and it has blue in it, then that's where you start and you build from there. So,
right. So in the other look that we used, the first piece that we selected was the piece of art. So that had our golds and that had our blues and our whites. So again, you know, that was just a piece that we loved, and we built the room around that piece. And don't be afraid of color. You know, aubergines, plums, the yellows, emerald green is a beautiful color right now that we're seeing. A lot of the marble.
It's really big.
So you can really mix and match and you know, pull in as much color as you want, or just little pops like we've done, and you can see just the big difference that it makes.
You know, even though we didn't do that here, you can always paint an accent wall, and it really makes that whole grouping pop. So that's also a great idea, because paint isn't very expensive, and it's a great, great design idea to make everything pop.
It is.
So.
With your clients, do you find people really know, or a percentage or whatever, who really know what design, what style they like, or do you have to help guide them sometimes.
You know, it depends. There's some people that do know specifically what they want, but a lot of people, what her question was when customers come in and we're helping them, do they always know what design style they like or that they want? And sometimes people do. Sometimes people are very specific. A lot of times, though, I would say for the most part, they would like some guidance. They may have a beautiful pillow that they love, and they just don't know what other pieces they should put with it. So that's why we're doing these design classes to help you.
Well, and I think sometimes you like a certain style of couch, or maybe you really love leather, or you love the tufted leather. So that can really help steer the look that you want. And you know, we have a great design team here, and we have great salespeople that are really, you know, they keep up with the trends and can really help you. So when you're looking for that specific piece, or you may be looking for, you know, ideas to redo a room, you know, check our blog, check our social media, and come in and talk with one of our design team or, you know, one of our salespeople, because they're really educated and can really help you find, you know, those right pieces that can help you. And, you know, the eclectic look is such a big style. It isn't any particular style. It's a little bit of everything thrown together, but it works so well. And I think, you know, that really is a look that is just really big right now.
And, you know, with an eclectic look, for example, this is very eclectic because if you look at the legs on this table, they're straight. But then if you look at these legs, these arms, I should say, on the sofa and the love seat and the chair, they're curved. And so we were able to use a transitional look, which means that we don't have everything matching as far as style goes, but we're able to bring them together. And the reason why is because of finishes and textures that all coordinate throughout the whole entire room setting.
I got a question. We just redid our kitchen, and so we went with the white kitchen. Everything is white, but our living room is everything dark. They are separate, but we were talking to each other and saying, we are kind of old-fashioned with all this stuff. How can we change it? The looks of, because to get rid of everything is ridiculous, but if it is really dark, how can you change it more into
Right. So that's a great question. So when you've got a room that's heavy in wood, so you're heavy in your dark colors, whether it's a dark carpet, dark wood flooring, maybe you've got wood paneling, or you've got just, you know, your wood trim and accent pieces. So there's a lot of things that you can do to really lighten up the, you know, the area, again, without spending a lot of money. If you don't want to replace the floor, rugs are great things. You can go with something lighter. I'd go with something that had texture, so it really softens the look, because wood can look quite hard if you've got an area that looks dark and has a lot of wood. So by bringing in different textures and lighter pieces from your rugs, if you don't want to replace your furniture, pull in some lighter pillows. You know, pull in, whether you could do an accent wall or even paint some of the trim or some of the wood if it's, you know, not your floor, but whether it's like your trim or your doors, which again would really change and update the look. And I think, you know, going with more of like an eclectic style for something like that, where you could pull in your accessories and your lamps that would be a lot lighter. You'd find just by layering different lighter colors would really give you a soft look. So you could go with like a beautiful, like modern traditional, kind of like the first look that we did. You could go with like an industrial rustic or a rustic farmhouse. So maybe decide on one or two staple pieces that you want to keep, and then work on building the room and changing it kind of around those pieces.
And like Lindsay said, if you do have those staple pieces that you keep, if you go and look for the rug or the pillow that actually does have those lighter colors in it, then you can build your theme. So that's pretty much, these pillows helped us build our theme of bringing lighter pieces in. If you'll remember at the very beginning, when there were no accessories, it looked pretty bland and dark. I mean, it was on top of a wood floor, which is dark. But because we used a white table, which we got the idea from the pillows, because there's white in the pillows, we used our cute white pig. We also used white pieces in the accessories in the back. That really helps bring in those lighter colors that you're talking about that you want.
And if you don't have a lot of ceiling light, really utilize lamps. From the floor standing to, just your table lamps, that really makes a difference. And you can go with pieces that have like linen lampshades or natural that are lighter. Anything that has like blown glass, so the beautiful colored glass, so it doesn't have to be clear. It could be like the brown one that we used on the desk in the first look. So there's all different pieces that you can use that will really help to just lighten everything up. And then I would take accent pieces and just little snippets of what you've got in your kitchen that you've just remodeled and bring those into now the living room. So it kind of, even though it's a separate space, it just transitions through. So if you've got maybe a teal accent or green or blue or yellow, pull some of those colors into your other space, and that will really help, freshen up the look and really help pull it together.
We have a question from online.
Sure.
They're asking, how much do we charge for design services?
That's a great question. So the question was, how much do we charge for design classes, our classes or services? We actually don't charge. So,
which is great.
Yeah.
So come in with your pillows. Exactly. Someone said, "Where's the calendar?" We do. We have quite a few designers that really know how to pull your rooms and your entire house together. So we would be happy to help you.
Yeah.
Free of charge.
Free service that we offer, and so that's always great. And you can always bring in pictures. So if you're not maybe good at explaining what you've got or what you're working with, a good idea so that you can come prepared is maybe take some pictures that you can bring in, whether you bring it in on your camera, print them off, or just take them on your phone. And then maybe take measurements so you've got an idea of the size of furniture that your room would accommodate, or the size of rug, or from ceiling height to what you're working with, and our design team can really help you pull your look together.
It really helps too if you have a cushion to a sofa or a chair or even some pillows, because it's always hard to really get the exact color that you're looking for unless you have the exact elements there. So having those exact elements are always great. And then our designers actually can come out to your home as well. So we will do that free of charge.
So we have another question? Yes.
If your room is already carpeted, can you put a rug over that?
Yeah, so
Definitely.
That's a great question. So our studio question was, if you have a room that is already carpeted, can you use a rug? So absolutely. So again, look at the texture of the carpet that you have, and then I would go with something maybe opposite to the carpet so that it gives you a little bit of transition. And well, one of the big things right now is actually layering rugs.
It really is. It's a great thing. In fact, you may have seen in design magazines where layering of rugs is really a big thing. You may put a rug down first that is rectangular, like this is, laid down just right in front of the sofa. And then if you take another rug over the top, it could be another type of rug that has a different texture. We even have animal skins that we lay down at different angles. And so as you lay the second rug down on a different angle, it really brings that whole grouping to life and makes it really interesting.
Again, so kind of coordinating with the colors. So if you've got more of maybe a Berber carpet, or maybe you've got like a low, like a tight weave shag carpet, so it's just a low pile. Mostly, there'd be like the multicolored. So the great thing with that, you can really use that as your base neutral color. Just so if you kind of picture it with the couch, and imagine that's kind of like maybe the pattern of a carpet, and by looking at the different throw pillows that we've used, you can really see how you can bring different textures and colors and sheen and material to the floor as well. So just as it works on your sofa, it absolutely works for a carpeted floor as well.
What is great too is if you do have carpet and you're wanting to put a rug down on your floor, it's really great to even look for a pattern in the rug, because that really helps bring that whole grouping to life. So if you look for a floral or whatever. There's so many patterns out there. There's rugs that are very popular that have a geometric design. So putting a rug that has a geometric design really brings that pop and that really modern element into your room.
And then I would suggest if you do use a geometric design in your rug, I would pull some of those elements into your throw pillows or the vases that you use. So again, you're just kind of pulling that whole look together, so it's not just a random, singular pattern. You're going to pull little elements of it throughout the room, and that really helps build the look that you're going for and kind of pull everything together.
Accessories are really fun. Like we talked about, you really can even go around to your different rooms in your house and pull out accessories that have been, say, for example, in your master bedroom for a long time, but you just want to update the look. Bring them out of your master bedroom and bring them into your living room. Just grab different accessories from different rooms and just create a whole new look. Sometimes when I'm bored with my living room, I'll go out and grab a few pillows that were maybe upstairs on my bed. Or I might grab a candle holder that is in my other bedroom and place it on the coffee table with some other things. And it just really mixes things up. And it's a very inexpensive or no expense way to really change up the look. So,
Do you have any other questions?
How can you create a kid-friendly designed house? Because I look at all this stuff and I'm like, my kids will break the cake.
Exactly.
In a second. So just, to make it look good and pulled together, but I just couldn't use that many things.
Right. There's really a lot of things you can do. You don't have to use this many items on a coffee table. So the question was, what do you do if you have kids and you just know that they're going to break that vase or break that lamp? What do you do?
Make it more kid-friendly.
Exactly, to make it more kid-friendly. So there's really a lot you can do. You don't need to use all of the elements. Instead of using glass, you can use wood. And you can just use different things that aren't going to break. And you don't need to really put this many accessories on the table. It would probably drive you crazy because you'd always go by and feel like you'd have to fix it all over again every time your kids were there. So you can even place a larger item in the center and just have one item.
Mm-hmm. So one of the good thing, especially if you've got children and you're worried about placement or them breaking something or moving things around, as Wendy said, so when you're staging, you either want to have your groupings, as we've done here, and if you don't want to do groupings, so it's more kid-friendly, the easiest thing to do would be your singular. So you want a large staple piece. So something that's going to balance, and of course, the easiest thing is you want to make it look like it was supposed to fit there. So choose pieces that are size proportional, that are color, friendly, that are going to work with the room. Maybe they've got texture, so maybe you use like the natural wood elements. And now in the accessory world, you can really find pieces that look like they're porcelain, but they're very kid friendly, to where they're not as breakable. So that's something that you can still then have that look without worrying that they're going to knock over a $30 vase or something and now it's shattered all over the floor. So that gives you, I think, so just being selective with the pieces. One of the great things with the fabrics that we have, a lot of them are really very cleanable. So, manufacturers now are really coming out with so many different amazing fabrics that are very family friendly. So it used to be, years ago, if you had, any kind of kids or pets, you would absolutely stay away from light pillows or, light furniture. That was a huge no-no. But now with the different textiles and fabrics out there, you can still, really enjoy the lighter furniture and not worry, that it's going to get destroyed or it's going to get stained, because they clean up so well. Literally soap and water, you just wipe them down. So you can bring in your color that way, and then things that are washable. So maybe pick pillows that are, again, family friendly, that make sure that you've got your zippers so they're washable, so if you need to that way. And then with your lamps again, so maybe something like how we've used the metal would be a little more kid-friendly than maybe the blown glass. But you can use the singular pieces. So in the next week or two, again, if you keep an eye on our social media, we're going to be posting different looks, kind of just correlating to the class tonight. Just some of the additional looks that we just haven't had time, to cover. And we will be focusing on more family-friendly designs. So, just keep a tab on that, and we'll get that covered soon.